Hello, everyone. So I have with me Neeraj Gupta, who is the Chief Advisor for Technology and Innovation Investment for Invest Alberta Corporation. Hi, Neeraj.
Hi,
Hi. Thank you so
uh,
much for joining.
my pleasure.
Yeah. So Neeraj, all yours. Please take us
Okay,
through the Alberta and your corporation. Yeah. Thank you.
uh, absolutely. Thanks a lot. I represent Invest Alberta, which is a crown corporation, and that was formed a couple of months back. And one of the mandate of Invest Alberta is to create a sort of corridor between, Alberta and the rest of the world. So if you are a startup or investor or ecosystem, and if you're planning to come to North America and primarily Canada as well, we will be the kind of platform wherein we could help you with all those kind of soft landing, connecting you to right kind of investors or ecosystem, or help you network, help you understand what are the kind of tax incentives and the other business development opportunities Canada and Alberta offers in particular. So that's what Invest Alberta does. Today I'm going to speak more about the opportunities in Alberta. So I come from India. I've been in India. I have been part of most of the ecosystems which is there today. I've been part of Europe, and coming to Canada, one of the most important aspect, which is very important for most of the startup, is a kind of a favorable ecosystem, which you expect when you're growing. So you may be at the seed stage or Series A stage, and you may have a different kind of a challenges, and you may want to become more global. And I always say that this unfortunate gift of time, which this pandemic has given a sort of a kind of opportunity for startups to go more global, and start looking at what are the opportunity sets. So Alberta, as such, apart from the lowest corporate taxes, also have one of the most budding entrepreneurial ecosystem. So if you look at from the ecosystem incubators and accelerators point of view, there are accelerators and incubators which are like Platform Calgary, in Edmonton, Tech Edmonton, and then you have Creative Destruction Labs, Zone, and there are so many other ecosystems and incubators and accelerators. And these ecosystems and incubators and accelerators are really effective. Like if you want to get connected to the people, if you want to get connected to the investors, they provide you all sort of holistic approach towards making you become more successful, if you will. The second part is investors ecosystem. So not sure whether you have seen and following the news, but in last 9 months, one of the very successful startup stories are coming from Alberta. So a company called Benevity got acquired in more than $1 billion valuation, and from by UK investors. There is another company called Cement and Neo Financial in the fintech space. They got massive amount of funding. A company in robotics and AI called Adabotics got massive amount of funding and also the grant. So you in Canada, you will also look at, and particularly in Alberta, you will find a lot of government initiatives that are going to help you. For example, Alberta Innovates. If you look at Alberta Innovates, what this corporation does is basically gives you all kind of provisions to help in different segment, be it health, AI, medtech, robotics, 5G, LTE, IoT, whatever segment you are in. You have different kind of opportunities for grants. For example, there's something called micro vouchers. So if you if you're at a very early stage and if you want to look at the IP portfolio, or you want to do a market research about your product, you can get a grant from Alberta Innovates. And then further, you can get more grants in terms of development of your product. And believe me or not, these grants do happen, and they are very effective grants. And I've seen hundreds of startups growing. I personally have been part of one of the most promising startup in Canada, based out of Calgary, called Adabotics, as chief strategy officer, and I've seen the kind of help and growth which this company has done. There is a fund called Ontario Teachers Pension Fund that got Series C funding for Adabotics, $67 million. And then there was another a government grant called Strategic Innovation Fund that had given a funding of around $35 million, and that's a grant, non-dilutive grant. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're looking at the kind of a right ecosystem, and Alberta also is among top three most livable city in the world, and the proximity, like, before pandemic I used to, one week I will be in a month I will be in San Francisco, and then another week I'll be in Seattle, and then third week I will be in Europe. So the point is, the proximity also is strategically, Alberta is stationed in such a way that, if you want to go and tap North American market, primarily US market, it's very easy, it's very non-expensive. There are direct flights to Bay Area and other cities across North America. The other important aspect, which also a lot of startups at your stage, I'm not sure what stage are you in, but if you are at the early stage and pre-series A stage, is access to capital as from angel investment point of view. Alberta has one of the very strong angel investment ecosystem. As you might know, that Alberta was very strong on oil and gas, and because of it, there was a lot of financial inclusion that happened, and because of which, in Alberta you will find a lot of high net worth, successful, professionals as well as entrepreneurs who are ready to invest. I am part of something called Valhalla Angel, and Valhalla Angels are one of the most prominent angel network. Then you have in Alberta, there's something called A100, Alberta 100. So Alberta's 100 most influential people, and that's also a fund. There's Startup Calgary, there's Startup Edmonton. If you are a medtech company, there's something called Health City in Edmonton, and that provides all kind of support if you are into medical technologies. If you're looking for a research, AI and machine learning and robotics particularly, Alberta has something called AMI, which is one of the strongest AI ecosystems in the world. It provides all kind of support. It is supported by government. So AI, and if you're into IoT and hardware, there's something called in Alberta IoT, and Alberta IoT is another emerging technology ecosystem. So Alberta has all the right kind of a building blocks, but more importantly, it's not as expensive as other province in Canada, and that becomes one of the very important aspect for a startup, because you need to hire a lot of technology experts. University of Alberta is awesome. If you go to University of Calgary, University of Alberta, you'll find the kind of a research they want to collaborate with startups. They will be very happy to do a joint project, and probably may also avail a lot of fundings available in Alberta. So my suggestion is, based on my personal experience and based on the experience of a lot of startups, not only which are homegrown within Alberta in Canada, but also outside Canada, which have come to Alberta. My suggestion is definitely explore Alberta. Invest Alberta will be more than happy to help you out. We all will be more than happy to talk to you one on one and help you in whatever way is possible. So with that, probably I can open the floor for the questions if you have. I'm not sure how much time I have, but I can probably take a couple of questions, Gaurav, if you
Yeah,
are
we can
okay.
take one question. Any questions, guys? Yeah. So we have one question here. Nisha.
Yeah, Nishant.
Yeah.
Hi, Neeraj. Great to be part of this event. I just quickly wanted to understand. You mentioned a lot of things. Do you have anything in like battery tech, electric vehicle space in Alberta? Is there something that's happening in that space?
Absolutely. When you talk about battery space, energy, Alberta is very strong on energy, as you already know. But now there is going to be a lot of emphasis on autonomous cars, and because of this entire autonomous cars and AI and electric vehicles, suddenly a lot of impetus have been given to battery tech. So, and already I think four startups in battery tech have got a good amount of funding in Alberta, and they are flourishing. So, and if you are trying to also set up a kind of a manufacturing hub and all, there are different provisions when you can get a grant to get the space, that sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Neeraj, for this session.
Sure.
Thank you so much. So everyone, will be back with another session. Stay tuned.